Say what you will about not needing brakes if you want to go fast. The truth is, there's a corner coming at some point. You want strong, powerful, and consistent brakes that will increase your confidence and make sure that you can get down quickly. Today, we're going to talk about rubbing brake hoses like I have here on my Canyon Torque. Additionally, we're going to talk about different types of brake pads and some new issues that I've been experiencing with my Torque. Before we jump into fixing this brake hose, there's a few comments that I want to address, and that is about the brake hoses and the shifter cables and how they're fixed to this bike. To me, it's not that big of a deal. I care more about geometry and suspension. I just wanted to mention it so that way you could be aware of it if you were in the market for this bike. As you may recall from my bike review video, I talked about these cables in the front triangle and how they were quite noisy, which you can still hear. However, I'm really happy to report that when I'm riding this bike on trail, I am not able to hear those cables. I do, however, hear some noise coming from the rear of the bike. I think it's just coming from the derailleur and chain slap. It's not bad. It's definitely not like bikes of 3 years ago. I just wanted to point out that there is some noticeable noise. In my last video about the Torque, I forgot to mention I removed the E13 chain guide, which some of you actually picked up on just from watching the video. The reason for that is, quite frankly, modern 12-speed drivetrains, they don't really need chain guides anymore. The chain retention and the clutch mechanism in the derailleur is really good, and unless your drivetrain is getting worn out, you just don't really need a chain guide. And in my experience, oftentimes, even if your chain does fall off, then the chain guide just gets in the way and makes it harder to put the chain back on. So let's get into my rubbing brake hose. Before we can jump into why the hose is rubbing on the wheel, we actually have to look at how the hose is routed through the frame. So in the front triangle, it's internally routed, and then in the rear triangle, it's externally routed. So you can see that the hose goes into the frame here, all the way down, comes out down by the crank, and from there, it moves underneath the chainstay and up to the brake caliper. When it goes under the chainstay, it's connected by these zip ties that you can see right down here. A key factor though, whenever you're working with a full suspension bike, is to make sure that your cables and your hoses aren't too tight on your rear triangle. You actually need to have a little bit of wiggle room, because as the suspension moves through its travel, the rear triangle is going to move up and you don't want to pull the cables too tight. In this particular scenario, it seems like these zip ties down here are tight enough, and the only option if I wanted to hold this in place would be to hold it with another zip tie, but putting a zip tie right here would look pretty terrible. Instead, a viewer who also has a Torque gave me a great tip, and that is you can actually flip the caliper a full rotation, and that should bring this cable out and away from the wheel. So let's give that a shot. Now that looks pretty promising, and I also noticed there's some clear frame protection on the backside of the chainstay, which is precisely where the brake hose is now placed. And it leaves me to wonder if they might have made a mistake at Canyon and accidentally put that caliper on in the wrong position. Anyways, I think this is gonna do, but let's go test it on trail and see how it holds up. All right, I am super happy to report I'm not hearing any ticking sounds at all, and I don't think there's any way that this brake hose is ever going to rub again. So I want to give a huge shout out to Nikolai Engelstead for giving me that pro tip. He was right, and that is the solution. While we're on the topic of brakes, let's discuss a few more things. In my ride review video, I talked about stopping power. On all quality mountain bikes, the bikes always come with hydraulic disc brakes. However, there are two different types of calipers available: 2-piston calipers and 4-piston calipers. On bikes like this, enduro and downhill oriented bikes, it's always 4-piston because it maximizes your stopping power and it has better modulation. However, for some cross-country bikes and gravel bikes, even road bikes, it's usually a 2-piston setup because you get some additional weight savings and the stopping power is still pretty sufficient. Beyond caliper design, there's also 2 different types of brake pads, organic and metallic. Organic brake pads typically come on stock builds from the factory, and in addition to that, organic brake pads are quieter and they also tend to work well in most conditions. However, metallic brake pads can really come into play when you're trying to ride in the wet or if you're trying to maximize your stopping power on especially long descents, like you might find on a long enduro stage or when you're riding at the bike park. Fun fact, pros oftentimes will use one organic pad and one metallic pad on the other side of the rotor. That way they can get the best of both worlds and maximize their braking performance in all conditions. Hopefully you found this video informative, and if there's similar topics that you'd like to see in the future, be sure to leave a comment down below. As for today's video, that's it. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tell me where to ride next.